Right now from U.S. Staffing Agency, Jim Dolson is here. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Tim. I'm flying solo today. The wingman, Ben, is gone.
Yeah, time of year, vacations, and plus you guys have that office down in
He's
Tennessee.
hanging out down in Nashville. That's right, at our new branch down there.
Yeah.
But we thought today we'd talk about leadership styles. Now, this is not just any old leadership style, but leadership styles by bosses who tend towards scaring and intimidating their employees. Yes, there are managers out there who enjoy that kind of leadership style, causing anxiety and fear in people.
Sure, yeah. Well, yeah, like George Steinbrenner, the boss.
I was just going to say, that's kind of where we're going, the boss. So Steinbrenner was obviously the outspoken and opinionated owner of the Yankees. When he bought the Yankees in '73, though, he promised he'd be a hands-off owner.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody believed him. He was soon involved, though, with every aspect of the team, even regulating employees' facial hair, which I guess is still a thing today with the Yankees, as I understand it.
Yeah.
So, and not to be forgotten, the connection with Detroit, of course, with much fanfare. He hired and fired Billy Martin 5 times. I guess the first time didn't take, so he did it 4 more times after that.
Right, yeah. Those two guys had similar styles.
Yes, they did. Yeah. That was a hate relationship. One of the Yankees players said, George's a great guy, unless you have to work for him. So pretty well summed it up. But here's another boss with a bad reputation, kind of like that scary, intimidating person that we're talking about. His name was John Patterson. Now, Patterson was the owner and founder of a company that made cash registers. This was back in the early 1900s.
Okay.
In fact, he passed away in 1922, but his legend lived on. He was known as a control freak to those who worked for him. Now, for example, he tried to impose his obsession with cleanliness and healthiness on his employees. He mandated that they take showers on company time, if you can believe that, and he restricted certain types of food in the company cafeterias and that sort of thing. So, listen, hopefully you're not a manager that behaves this way, but if you are, and if you're listening, maybe there's some things you should know. We're discussing an article from last week's Harvard Business Review. It's titled, "Does Your Leadership Style Scare Your Employees?" So, according to a 2018 study, this is interesting, Tim, managing employees through intimidation and scare tactics was found to significantly increase turnover and be very counterproductive. Now, I don't think that's a shock to anybody, so I hope there wasn't a lot of money paid for that research. But, Tim, if you ever worked for an intimidating boss, and if you did, how did it feel?
Well, I worked for one before I got into radio, and it was in a factory setting. And
it's why you went into radio, right?
Yeah. Oh, he was really horrible, and he made it miserable for everybody. And it felt like, and then we talked about this a lot. It felt like he would pick out one person every week and just single them out and make their life miserable as a way to motivate all the rest.
Yeah, and you were that person sometimes.
I was sometimes.
Yeah. Well, there's a number of activities that people, if you're this kind of a manager, there's a number of activities that you can take to ensure that employees don't experience that unnecessary fear or anxiety around you. Now, one of them is, oddly enough, assume that your employees are afraid of you. Just like make that assumption in the beginning and then watch to see if it's true. Think about how you behave in various situations. Do you treat your employees with the courtesy that you would give to a customer? Or do you take them for granted? Now, one thing you can do is check yourself to see if you're going overboard on your tone and your mannerisms when you express your dissatisfaction with people. Here's another clue. If people withdraw or fail to make eye contact with you, like when you pass them in the hallway, that might be your sign that they're somewhat afraid of you. Yeah. Now, another action that you can take is to ask open-ended questions about the team culture. Now, the key here is to find somebody who's not in the company and ask them about, what are you hearing about what my employees say, or what are they saying about how they feel at work? Now, another activity you can take is to reduce the number of times that you correct people. Managers who connect rather than correct remove fear in the workplace. So, Tim, think about it for a moment.
Yeah.
Like, how does it make you feel when you're constantly corrected in a work situation?
Well, yeah, it's a terrible feeling, but
Like you can never do anything right.
yeah, well, yeah, that's right. And as a manager, I try to point out something good before I
Yeah.
do that, and then I try to pick and choose where it really needs to be brought up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, or find other ways, more constructive ways to do it. Yeah, because yeah, nobody likes that.
Right. And it's kind of it's called a sandwich. Like you list something good they're doing, you list some sort of correction, then you list another thing they're doing good. So you sandwich the bad news, if you will, between two pieces of good news.
Right. Yeah.
And it's an easy activity that can turn the ship on how you're being perceived. And it doesn't take a long time for employees to start noticing the change in how you approach them. And when they make a mistake, it's a great way to quickly turn how you're perceived. Finally, leaders who are perceived as scary or intimidating and they want to change, they can show some vulnerability. Now, that doesn't mean you walk down the hallway crying your eyes out
Right,
and being really emotional. It's not that sort of thing. But managers who create a safe culture welcome dissent from their subordinates, and they even concede power every once in a while. And they do this, though, in trade for team commitment and trust from the people that work with them. But that does take vulnerability. As a manager, if you're one of those folks, you need to be okay with allowing your employees to prove you wrong once in a while. This vulnerability makes you more likable, and research shows that likability is a requirement for being a successful leader.
I like that.
Yeah. So now listen, perhaps you're an employee, though, who has a boss that is scary and intimidating, and he or she is not going to change. Come in and talk to us. We have great employers looking for quality team members. Maybe you're a business owner, though, or a manager, and you have some people who are intimidating and bullying other people on your team and simply said it's just time for them to go. It's time for them to check out. Call us. We have team members looking for quality employers all the time. So if you're a business leader or a potential team member and you want to talk with us, you can find us on Facebook at US Staffing Agency, or you can live chat with us on our website at usstaffingagency.com, or come into our Battle Creek location at 5420 Beckley Road or in the Mingus Creek Plaza. Our phone number over there is 589-6507.
All right, great. We'll give you a call over at US Staffing. Again, 589-6507, 5420 Beckley Road, Suite C. Jim, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Tim.
All right.